there, and welcome to today's video. For today's video, we're going to be building something I've seen a lot of floor plans of lately. This is a bit of an amalgamation of a few different floor plans that I've seen, and these are units that are less than 500 square feet. Now this build in the gallery, I ended up calling it expensive apartment. In-game, it ended up costing me almost 50,000 simoleons, which is a lot more expensive than what you would think for a house this size. And ironically enough, it's also very expensive to buy one, at least one that looks like this around the area where I'm living at. These are units that I believe are barely affordable, being sold or rented out to students. And what I find the most ridiculous about it is that the bedroom doesn't even have a window. It's basically the Sims equivalent of a half wall. Sometimes it's even a window within a window. So you will have the bedroom in the middle of the house basically, and it will have a window towards the living room that has a window towards the outside. Now, I just find this ridiculous since it's basically just being done that way to be considered up to code. In Ontario, where I live at least, you can't sell something and classify it as a bedroom if it doesn't have a window or a closet. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it needs to have both of those to actually qualify as a bedroom in general. But what I personally find ridiculous about these builds is I'd almost prefer there to be no walls at all. I'd rather have a studio apartment and do with it what I will instead of having this tiny room that is now considered a bedroom that I'm supposed to be able to fit a bed in there. I personally would just like the option to have a bed the size I want it to be instead of a bed the size that I'm either able to get through the door or through the slot that's supposed to be a window. But anyways, enough about real talk as to why I don't love these units. Let's talk about why I do like it in The Sims. I was actually pleasantly surprised after building this since I did playtest this one. I do try to playtest at least all the ones that seem too tiny or too tight. And this one definitely seemed like everything was going to be kind of tight. It was modeled after what these units typically have for furniture, but I'm not even sure where exactly connections would be, say to connect the TV or anything like that. I just kind of went with what I thought would look good in the area. So for example, the dining room, I don't know if I would have put it anywhere else. I don't know if it would have fit anywhere else. Maybe I would have put a different size table and tried to do something that way. But typically the way I see these, and I think this is even built in, the countertops stop at a certain point, so you're done with the kitchen, and all of a sudden it's just a lower bar, which is used kind of as a dining room and computer area. I don't know how tight this would actually be as a person, but when you're playing Sims, it's just the right amount of space to be like, you have a hallway that is also being used as a functional space. So it works really well when you're trying to make tiny builds, especially if you have tiny living and you want to use all those perks. I actually found it rather good. The garbage placement is a little questionable to say the least, but it does work, and your sim is able to get everywhere that they need to in this unit, which I was pleasantly surprised by that because I didn't even have to move anything after building it. Everything actually worked exactly where I put it. Now, decorating the outside was a little bit more iffy since this is supposed to be an apartment and there's only one wall where there are windows. So I got a little creative. I did a rock garden or a stone garden. It's kind of a mix. I wanted it to be a bit of a stone garden, but with the flooring that is available in base game, it looked really flat. So I ended up putting some rocks there to give it a bit more dimension, let's say. And on the other side, I actually saw this one picture. It was at a yard, so it would have been against lattice at the very least, but they had all these flower baskets hung up on the wall, and I figured we have a similar item in Sims, so might as well use that, try to make a bit of an outside garden, cover it up because this is Oasis Springs at the end of the day, and I'd like to consider that they need to be a little bit more careful with how hot it probably is here, shelter the plants a little bit more if they want anything with flowers basically. And I did a little outside area there since the balcony that these units have are actually not accessible. There's something like Juliet balconies, but you can't really make that here. You even probably saw me at the beginning trying to put some of those smaller balconies on there, but it wasn't really going to look good, so I just made one and didn't put a door to it. But I did want to give the Sims at least a little bit of an outside area, so they have just a table and a barbecue, but you're more than welcome to expand as you play with your Sim here. If you play with your Sim here, it is way too expensive for what it is. But I did have a lot of fun with it, and playtesting it, that sectional couch that I created by putting 2 couches together, turns out your Sim can actually sit and nap on both of them, so 2 for 1, I guess. I didn't try with 2 Sims, so I don't know if you can have both of them napping at the same time, but hey, at least it works with a single Sim. But anyways, we are getting close to the end of this video. Do let me know down below what you think of this one. Let me know what you'd like me to try out next, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great weekend!